In this movie, I'll show you how to access special characters that you can't get to from the keyboard from the glyphs panel. And if you're a big type fan, you are going to love this panel. It's absolutely great for finding any sorts of characters inside of a font. I've saved my progress as 4stylesandall.ai. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the first page here. And you can see that it's looking pretty darn great, especially if I go ahead and throw in the backgrounds, which are contained on this pages layer. So if you turn that pages layer on, you'll see the ornaments around the text. What we're missing here is the ornaments between the stanzas. So I'm going to double click after the word ukulele, and I need to move my cursor over a character after the period. So I'll just go ahead and press the right arrow key to nudge that insertion marker, and then I'll press the enter key or the return key on the Mac in order to drop down a line. Now the character we're looking for is actually part of Adobe Caslon Pro, but it's not accessible from the keyboard. You're not going to find a pineapple key, which is what we're looking for here. So I'll go up to the type menu and choose the glyphs panel. And that'll bring up this panel that shows every single character in the font. So you need to make sure that the font down here is set to Adobe Caslon Pro so we can find what we're looking for. And then notice here, we've got all these characters, so all the uppercase characters followed by all the lowercase characters. If you click and hold on one of the characters, such as the C, for example, you'll see variations on that C. So there's the capital C, there's the small cap C. So there's actually designer-created small caps that are part of this font. And for some reason, Illustrator thinks this ornament has something to do with a C. And if I wanted to insert it at this location, then I would just go ahead and choose it like so, and then we're seeing the ornament here inside the artboard. But I don't want that ornament, so I'll press the backspace key or the delete key on the Mac. You can scroll down your list to find still more characters like built fractions, for example. All the quarters and thirds and eighths are there. We have all kinds of accented characters available to us as well. But you can see I've only scrolled a little bit down the list. We have the option of filtering the characters that we see by clicking on this entire font option next to the word show. And then you can switch to all the small caps or all the discretionary ligatures, which are special combined characters inside the font. What I'm looking for are the ornaments. So I'll go ahead and choose ornaments, and then I can see all the ornaments that this font contains. I mean, who knew that Caslon, a standard everyday average Roman font, contains a bunch of wacky ornaments in it? There's my pineapple, and if I want to use it, all I have to do is double click on that character, and then Illustrator automatically inserts it into the text. That's it for the glyphs panel. So I'll go ahead and click the close box in order to dismiss it. And then I'm going to zoom in on my text here by pressing Control plus or Command plus on the Mac a few times. Now, I need to style this text, so I'll go ahead and triple click in this line in order to select the entire thing. And one of the formatting adjustments I want to make is paragraph spacing. So I'll go ahead and click on the word paragraph up here in the control panel. And I'll click on the space before paragraph icon in order to select that value. And I'll change it to 21 points. Press the tab key in order to invoke that change. And then press the enter key to dismiss the panel. Now, the other thing I want to do is change the color of this pineapple. If I press Control H or Command H on the Mac, I'll hide that little area of selection there. The character is still selected, however. Now, color is a character level formatting attribute, and yet if you click on the word character or you bring up the freestanding character panel, you're not going to find any color swatch here. So what do? Well, you just go to the color panel, actually. So I'll hide the character panel by pressing the enter key. And then you can see the color panels available to me in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If it's not there for you, go to the window menu and choose the color command, or you have that keyboard shortcut of F6. Anyway, I need to make my color panel bigger so I can see the CMYK values, and I'll do that by clicking on that up-down arrow icon a couple of times in order to expand the panel. And then here are the values I came up with. Change the cyan value to 100%. I'll change the magenta value to 30. I'll change the yellow value to 80, and then I'll change the K value, which is black, to 0. And you can see that I now have a green pineapple. All right, now I'll press the enter key or the return key on the Mac in order to leave the color panel. Now, I want this pineapple to be centered on the artboard. So I'll go up to the control panel once again and click on the Align Center icon, or I could have pressed Control-Shift-C or Command-Shift-C on the Mac. Now, what gives? Why in the world is the pineapple off-center? We can tell it's off-center because that vertical guideline right there runs exactly down the center of the artboard. Well, Here's my problem. I'll go ahead and press the escape key to switch back to my black arrow tool, and I'll press Control H or Command H on the Mac to bring back my selection edges. Then I'll click off the text to deselect it. I have this little bit of extra margin associated with this text, and I can see how big the margin is by grabbing the rectangle tool, which is a great measuring tool inside of Illustrator, and then I'll just drag from one margin to the other, and you can see that it's telling me that my rectangle has a width of 22 points. In other words, this area right here is 22 points wide. All right, now I'll press the backspace key or the delete key on the Mac to get rid of that rectangle. And I'll switch back to my type tool, and I'll triple click on this pineapple in order to select the entire line. What I need to do is go up to the paragraph panel and set this right indent to the exact same value I just measured. So I'll click on the right indent icon to select its value, and I'll change it to 22 points, which was the width of that rectangle, and then I'll press the tab key, and sure enough, that goes ahead and centers that pineapple exactly where it should be. All right, now I'll press the Enter key. Now let's style and duplicate the pineapple. So I'll bring back up my Paragraph Styles panel, and I'll create a new style by Alt-clicking or Option-clicking on that little page icon, and I'll call this style Pineapple, and then I'll click OK. And now I'll click on the word pineapple to make sure that I've styled this text here, and it says it has a local override. I don't know what that could possibly be. So I'll Alt-click or Option-click on pineapple in order to make sure there's no special formatting going on. All right, now I'll hide the Paragraph Styles panel, and I'll go ahead and zoom out by pressing Control-0 or Command-0 on the Mac. I'll go up to the Edit menu and choose the Copy command, or I could press Control-C or Command-C on the Mac in order to select that text. All right, let's move to the next page. I'll first press the Escape key in order to deselect the text, and then I'll press Shift Page Down in order to move to the second artboard. And it looks like we've got a problem with the text wrapping a little differently than I'd like it to. Let's take care of that problem right now by clicking off the text to deselect it. So you don't want anything selected when you're adjusting a paragraph style. Bring up the Paragraph Styles panel, and I'll double click on Large Standard right there, which should be at the top of the list. I'll double click on it to bring up the Paragraph Style Options dialog box, and I'll switch to Basic Character Formats. Make sure the Preview checkbox is on. Click in the leading value, and then I'll press the down arrow key as many times as it takes to get that text all on one page. And I'd like the bottom of the final line to align with the bottom of the lines on the other pages. So this looks good. A leading value of 35 points works. Go ahead and click OK. Thanks to the fact I was working with a paragraph style, it was easy to change all the text at once. Now go ahead and double click in front of the word My, and My Chance Came a Week from Next Sunday. And I'll go up to the Edit menu and choose the Paste command, or I could press Control-V or Command-V on the Mac to paste in the pineapple. I'll drop down to this line, click in front of the I, press Control-V or Command-V on the Mac. Now let's move over to the third artboard. I can hide the Paragraph Styles panel. Click in front of the W and Well, press Control-V or Command-V on the Mac. Click in front of the S and So, and press Control-V or Command-V on the Mac in order to paste in that final pineapple. Then I'll press the Escape key and click off the text in order to deselect it. We've almost got the document done. Pretty much formatted exactly the way we need it to be. Just one more thing we need to do, and that's spell check in the very next movie.